Hello, welcome to the A to Z YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Toby Allen and I'm the A in A to Z, and I work alongside my good friend Ruben Zafra, who is the Z in A to Z. I work on the producing and engineering side of things. He works on the mixing and mastering side of things. Today we're going to be looking at the brand new drum kit from RS Drums called the Monarch Kit, and it's essentially, from what I understand, it's essentially supposed to be a plug-in version of Anoop Sastri's personal kit, and he's got quite a few different options. So you've got this one set of toms on here, and they've got lots of different snares to choose from and a few different kicks to choose from. Some of the cymbals have got some options to choose from in there as well, and there's quite a lot of options kind of in the back end as well, things that you can adjust and change. There's a lot of samples on here, so the idea being the more samples you have, the more realistic you can make the sound kit and more options you have. This is a 42 gig kit, which is quite large for a contact library. So yeah, there's a lot going on underneath the bonnet. So let's just check out the GUI itself. So you have here, as standard with most drum libraries, you have the drums available to look at and click on. Etc. And you'll notice on there the little drop down, so you can, on some of these you can change which change the hats, for example. You've got different crashes to choose from. So as I say, you've got one set of toms on this one, and then let's just listen to the kicks. So you've got three to choose from: Star Maple, Star Classic, and another Star Classic. And then the snares, you've got you've got three Gretches here. Well, it's one Gretsch with three different tunings, and then you've got the Ludwig Brass with three different tunings, Star Classic BB with two tunings, Star RSV Brass with two tunings as well. So let's just run through how all of those. And the great thing is, something that you don't see very often in contact libraries, you've got this little button over here where you can actually hear the samples without having to load them up. You can audition the different sounds without having to actually click on one, load all the samples and wait for it to finish and then listen to it. So those are some tasty snares. A nice lot of ping on all of those. And you can see this preset we've got loaded at the moment is called the King of Ping. So that's kind of the one I went straight for, because that's the kind of thing that I normally look for in a drum library. We've got the mixer over here, and you've got the first off, of course you've got the faders here to choose to mix them if you want them to do that inside contact rather than multi out and mixing separately. You've also got a boost function on here, so you can use that to essentially adjust how much processing there is. So when the boost is on full, the processing is on full, and when your boost is on zero, then you are listening to the raw samples. So let's, for example, let's just grab a little section here. We will mute the kick and I will adjust the boost as it plays. Here's how it sounds with the boost on full. Here's it with the boost on about 12 o'clock. And here it is with the boost off. So you can hear that for kind of getting a mix ready sound, generally speaking, you'll probably want to have the boost on quite high. So we will do the same again now with the snare. So that's the processing on full. Let's bring that down. And then, so you can go, again, you can do that with all of the different parts of the fader on here. And then you've got advanced routing. So you can go into here and you can look at where the different parts of like different microphones essentially, whereabouts they would be routed to. So if you look at the snare here, you've got snare top, snare top 2 and snare bottom all going to the same bus there. Now you can multi those out, so if you wanted to have your 2 snare top mics and your snare bottom mic going out to different sections of your DAW, you can do that here, and then you can adjust where everything is going. Then you've also got, on the close mics, you've got the ability to pan those, but you've got a spread function on the stereo output. So for overheads, close room, far room, cymbals, you can actually adjust how much spread there is. So you've got kind of a width enhancer. If you want the cymbals to sound much further apart, then you can use that spread function. So let's listen to how that sounds. So you can hear that really, if you're listening on headphones, you'll hear that, or on speakers, you'll notice that more than if you're using a phone speaker. But you've got a definite width enhancement happening there when you adjust that. So if you want to go a bit more granular in your mixing, you can, and you want to keep it all within contact, you can go to the sub mixer and you can adjust what each one of these on the main mixer has going into it. So like for the example, we've got the kick here, we can go to the sub mixer and we can change that one kick is represented by this section here. So you've got kick in, kick out 1, kick out 2, kick sub, kick sample. All of that is going into the one kick fader on the main mixer. And the same with the snares, you've got 2 top mics for the snare, a snare bottom and a snare sample. And then the same with the rack toms as well. You've got a top mic and a bottom mic, and you can adjust how much of those are coming through to each one of the single faders on the first page. Then you can also adjust your reverb here. You've got quite a lot of reverbs to choose from. So this looks to me like they're based on impulse responses. So you've got different impulse responses that you can choose here to have your reverb. You can choose the reverb sends, so you can adjust individually each item of the kit, how much of that is going to the reverb. So if you, generally speaking, you want lots of reverb on, if you're going to have lots of reverb, you're going to have it on the snare and the toms mostly, whereas you wouldn't necessarily want it on the kicks and the overheads, so you can adjust those separately. But if you do want to have everything going to the reverb, that option is there for you as well. And then you've also got the bleed options on here. So this is speaking specifically to the overheads and the close rooms and the far rooms. You can adjust how much of everything is going through. So for example, if you want less kick to come through on your rooms, you can adjust that here by bringing that down. You can have the kick coming through the overheads but not the rooms, for example, which is quite nice. Then also you've got processing here, which is bus processing. So this has everything on the master bus going through this. So you've got to choose, you can choose between 3-band EQ, saturation, mix bus compression, Super GT tube saturation, transient designer, and tape saturation. So those are all things you can add in for extra effects onto the master bus. And then on the grooves, we have here some MIDI, which has been set up here specifically for sounding great with this kit. So let's try that with a different preset. So let's go with default Monik. We'll try that again on another preset. Let's try the rock metalcore. And let's try Snoozy Trinket, whatever that is. That sounds fun. That sounds really lovely. There's a lot of variety of the sounds in there, even in just those. I mean, all the snares have got a kind of natural ping to them on all of those samples, but they all still have a lot of variety within those sounds, because you've got the different tunings on there as well. And of course, you can adjust the tuning further using this pitch shift function on here, which is what's being used on this particular preset. So let's just try playing it, and I'll just adjust the tuning of the snare. It almost sounds kind of Lamb of God-ish, which is quite nice. So there you go, that is the Monarch Kit from RS Drums. I'm really impressed with that, and it's great, a lot of fun. I'm pretty sure I'll be using that on a project of some kind in the not too distant future. And keep an eye out for whereabouts to put this on the drum library tier list, which will be coming up very, very soon. Hoping to have that video out before Black Friday, so keep an eye out for that. If you've liked what you've seen, give us a like and subscribe, and all the fun things that go into being on YouTube and feeding the beast that is known as the algorithm. Thank you very much. Goodbye.